These are the vocabulary words for Chapter 2 that can be found on pages 270 through 279 of your textbook. All right, so the first one we want to talk about is population. These are the index cards that I used last year. I'm going to try to explain. There's obviously also definitions in the textbook. So the population is the large group or the big group that you want information about. It could be populations of people, it could be populations of fish, populations of sandwich bags, population of trees. They could be animate or inanimate objects. So our populations is our large group. It's very hard to talk to everybody in a group. Okay, our next word is parameter. Okay, so population, parameter, if you're into alliteration, they both start with P. So populations and parameters go together. The parameter is the number that we're trying to find out about. So it's an unknown variable that we want information about. It's the number that describes a population. So say you had a population of high school students and you wanted to figure out average SAT score. That would be your parameter. We don't know the average SAT score. If you had trees out here in the quad of the high school and that's your population, maybe the unknown variable or the parameter would be the average number of leaves on the tree. So that is a parameter, something we don't know the answer to. All right, and again, population, parameter, both start with P. Yay, alliteration. They go together. Okay, so because we can't talk to our entire population, we take a sample. So that's our next word. Sampling, if done correctly, should be a good representation of your population. So samples are the small group or the part of population that you are getting data from. So I don't want to go talk to all of the high school students here to figure out their SAT score. I only want to talk to some of them. So I'm going to take a sample. That's my small group. Once I get my small group of people, I'm going to ask them, okay, well, what was your SAT score? After I get all of the data from the sample, I will be able to calculate a statistic. Yay, the name of our class. So statistic, sample, they both start with S. They go together. Once you have a sample, from that sample, we'll compute a statistic. So it's the number that describes or comes from the sample. Hopefully, this will give us an estimate of our parameter. So we hope that our statistic is close to the parameter. So we hope that the sample SAT average that we get, that statistic, we hope it's close to the population average, but we're never really going to know if that's true or not. If you take a sample of high school students and then you take another sample of high school students, the results probably won't be the same. They might be the same, but not necessarily. That brings us to this word. There's something called sampling variability. Sounds like the word variety, variation, things that change. So if you take more than one sample from your population, you're likely to get different people, let's say, in the sample. Different people have different attributes, so you'll get different statistics. All right, so this is, again, results will vary or be different from sample to sample, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing to have variability. There's three basic ideas of why polling and sampling work. You might be wondering, well, why don't we just talk to everybody? Why don't we go look at all of the trees out there on the quad? We'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to try to make this less blurry. Should have done that earlier. Okay. Three basic ideas behind polling. One is that because, again, it's just impractical to talk to your entire population. that you want to take a sample. So I didn't like last year's card, so I'm going to rewrite it. So our book gives a really good explanation of this. If you're cooking, I'm going to try to draw. If you're cooking a pot of soup, we're going to try. Woo. Okay, and your soup has lots of different things in it. We're going to use different colors here to represent there's no kind of pink vegetable. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, I don't think there's blue vegetables. So pretend you're making like vegetable soup. So you've got all this stuff in your soup. What other colors do I have? I have green. Ooh, there's definitely green vegetables. Okay, so here's your soup. Oh, this is fun for me. Okay, let's put one more. Then how about purple? Ooh, it's like eggplant. Okay, you can't really tell that there's different colors, but maybe I'll put stars this time. Ooh, stars. Okay, so here's our soup. All right. If you were to say, okay, so say this is our population. Our soup is our population. What are the basic ideas behind polling? Item number 1, you don't want to eat all of your soup. There'll be nothing left. All right, so if we want to see how the soup tastes, we're going to take a sample. So you reach in with a spoon. Spoon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to draw a spoon. Probably not. Oh, let's try. Ooh, spoon. Okay. Here's my spoon. All right, so you reach in. It kind of makes sense, hopefully, that you don't, because different vegetables weigh different amounts in this kind of analogy here, you don't want to just skim off the top. Maybe you're going to get the light weighing vegetables and not the ones that sink to the bottom. So you want to take a sample so that you don't need to look at your entire population. So our little spoon should hopefully get green, purple, blue, and pink in it. To make this sample random, you'd want to stir up the pot. And also, the